Let us now understand what are the different rules of probability. Okay, the first rule of probability that we are going to discuss is the multiplication rule of probability. Okay, note that this multiplication rule of probability is used to find the joint probability of two events. Okay, so it is used to find out the joint probability. Note that what is joint probability? Joint probability is the probability that two events are going to happen together. Note that it is not necessarily that it has to be two events, it can be more than two events. So joint probability can be more than two events can happen together. So suppose let's say you have two events A and B. Okay, we want to know what is the probability that A and B are going to happen together. So the way to represent this in the probability convention is to write P, A and B. So we are saying that probability of A and B. Right? Now when we talk about the multiplication rule, note that AND means multiplication. Okay, wherever you have AND means multiplication. So we are talking about what is the probability of A and B happening together, assuming that these two are independent events. If these two are independent events, then it is written as probability of A into probability of B. Okay, plain simple way you are saying that probability of A and B together, what is the probability? This is the way. Think about, you are throwing a coin. Okay, you want to know that in two throw, okay, what is the probability of you will get head both the times. So note that these two are independent. This throw is not dependent on the previous throw. So we say that the probability of head in first and the probability of head in the second. So you are saying that probability of head in the first, so we write like this, probability of head in the first and probability of head in the second, or it can be written as probability of head in the first and probability of head in the second. Both are equal to half and half, so you will get the probability. Now what if this A and B are not independent event, if they are dependent events, okay, or conditional event? In case, okay, you have A is dependent on B. If you have A is dependent on B, then it can be written as probability of A given B into probability of B. Note that A is dependent on B or conditional, so we will say that probability of A given B into the unconditional probability of B. Okay, when we say that probability of A and B, okay, when B is dependent on A, we will say that B given A into probability of A. Now how do you remember this? See this, A given B and B. So think about it, this is getting cancelled. Think about it, this is getting cancelled. This is the way you can remember. So this is your joint probability of non-independent events. Okay, right. Now if you want to know what is the joint probability of n independent event, okay, we have seen for one independent event, two independent event, it is PA into PB. If you have these n independent event, that is A1, A2, AN, we want to know what is the probability that all of these are going to occur at the same time. We'll say that it will be equal to PA1, and should be replaced with multiplication. This and should be replaced with multiplication like that. So PA1 into PA2 till PAN. Whenever the idea is that whenever you see and you have to use the multiplication.